Thank you, Chairwoman Wilson, and also thank you, Chairman Scott, for allowing me to be here today and be part of this discussion, which is very personal to me. I have to tell you, it has been an interesting, few moments here on this committee listening to some of the testimony today, and frustrated and disappointed by some of the rhetoric that I've heard spewed that's anti-union and anti-worker. State Senator Under, you are a neighbor to my home state of Iowa. I was a former state legislator myself for 4 years in Iowa, and I have to tell you, I've done some research while I've been up here, and again, your rhetoric that you've been spewing against unions and also your record against working families is disappointing and, quite frankly, offensive. You see, this is personal to me. And I grew up a daughter of a union pipefitter welder in Iowa. My mom was a public school secretary. Heck, my grandfather was a lieutenant firefighter who helped advocate for Iowa's bipartisan collective bargaining law back in the 70s. It's a law that had worked well in my state, and it is a law that sadly I saw destroyed during my time in the State House. You see, I will never forget February of 2017, standing on that State House floor after days of hearing testimony from my friends, my family, and my neighbors in my home state who are just working their tails off to provide for their families. Folks like our teachers, our corrections officers, our bus drivers, who aren't asking for a whole heck of a lot, but we're asking to be treated with dignity and with respect. And there we were, standing on that State House floor, and I looked up into that gallery as my Republican colleagues in the state of Iowa were about to vote yes to gut their rights. And I looked up and I saw tears in many of their eyes, and I had tears of my own, thinking to myself in that moment that that is not how we treat people in my state or in my country, and I was gonna do whatever I could to get it back. So here I am in Congress right now, working with my colleagues, trying to fight like heck for my friends, my family, and my neighbors who I saw the state of Iowa let down. You see, we've got a lot of issues since that gutting of collective bargaining happened in the state of Iowa. And heck, since 2011, actually, we've lost 1,000 public employees in the state. These staffing shortages now that we have seen since the gutting of collective bargaining has resulted in a failure to train employees on vital safety measures, which have literally put their lives on the line. And in one state mental health facility in my own district, 4 employees have been attacked in the last 10 months. It's unconscionable, and again, this is not how you treat people in my state or in my country. The law also quite literally created a system that was rigged against working people, forcing unions to go through a costly and burdensome recertification process that was designed to make them fail. But they didn't. As you said, 95% of them were recertified because they work their tails off and they appreciate their unions who step up for them, who have their backs every single day. And I'll have to tell you, I am proud to represent my friends, my family, and my neighbors. I was proud to represent them in the State House, and I am proud every day to represent them in Congress. And I'm also proud to now be a sponsor of the Public Service Freedom to Negotiate Act, again, with my colleagues here today. It prevents states from attacking public employees' collective bargaining rights like they did in Iowa, ensuring that they can negotiate for fair pay and safer workplaces. I am grateful for all of you being here today, but I would really like to focus on these last few minutes of this committee if Mr. Patterson and Dr. Slater can walk us through how this legislation that I mentioned, that Public Service Freedom to Negotiate Act, will help workers in states like Iowa, like mine, and like those across the country who have seen their rights already undermined.
Well, in this short time, thank you, and thank you for supporting this bill and sponsoring it. We are very grateful. And I see I only have a few seconds, so let me just say that the bill essentially does 3 things. It ensures that a major sector of the workforce can actually exercise the constitutional right to form and join a union. It ensures that employers have to sit down and talk to the union and negotiate with the union that the workers have elected. And then, if they can't reach an agreement, it applies objective processes to make sure that those disputes don't boil over, that the parties don't resort to brinkmanship or other existential type of tactics, and instead work productively to reach a solution and for the better of everyone in the economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I yield back.
Thank you so much. You can put that in to the record for us in writing, the answer. If that's